Transfer deadline day has come to an end, and I'm going to be rating some of the biggest transfers that took place on the final day of the window. First off, Jorginho left Chelsea for their London rivals Arsenal, and I'm going to give this one a B. Now, some people may disagree with that and actually give a low rating, and to be honest, as an Arsenal fan myself, I wasn't too happy when I first heard about this transfer. Now, the reason behind that wasn't to do with the quality of the player, it was more so to do with the fact that he wasn't a number one target. It was current Brighton midfielder Moises Caicedo. Arsenal were heavily linked to the talented 21-year-old and made multiple bids for him, and the player even released a transfer request publicly on social media. However, Brighton didn't think the 70 million offer from him was enough, and Arsenal pulled out. This is frustrating as Arteta is doing an amazing job with the Arsenal squad at the moment, and yet even now he still never seems to get his first choice transfer targets. Earlier this window he wanted Mudryk and instead got Trossard, and if you go back to the summer he wanted Sandro Martinez but instead got Zinchenko, and there are plenty more examples of this. Now thankfully the second choices Arsenal have brought in have still worked out very well, and I think Jorginho will succeed at the club too, but Arteta almost never getting his first choice transfer targets is disappointing to see. With that being said though, Arteta is a huge fan of Jorginho, and this has been well documented for years, so I'm not too against his transfer. Arteta almost never misses with his signings, and Jorginho's CV is one of the best out there for a short-term option. Whether it's deserved or not, the guy finished third in the 2021 Ballon d'Or rankings after having won the Euros of Italy and the Champions League with Chelsea, and even won UEFA Men's Player of the Year that season. Now something people will point out is his age, as he's 31 years old and may start declining soon. However, it's not like he's been offered a long-term contract. It's 18 months with an option to extend for a year, which I think is perfect for this deal. He's a solid backup for Thomas Partey, who spent a lot of time out injured during his time at Arsenal, and Already is currently out injured too, so Arsenal needed to bring someone in, and with the winning mentality Jorginho has, and Arsenal only paid £12 million for him, I think it's a solid signing, but Caicedo would have been better. Next up is Cancelo, who left Man City for Bayern Munich on loan, and I have to give this one an A. Ever since Cancelo signed for Man City back in 2019, he's been a key part of their squad and has won 5 trophies with the club, and his ability to play both left back and right back to a high standard will be valuable to Bayern Munich. When I first heard about this deal, I was surprised to see City let him go. However, looking back, the guy was starting to get benched week in week out, and a player of his quality isn't going to be happy warm on the bench. He wants to be out there on the field making an impact. And I believe he can make an impact at Bayern. Yes, his form may have dropped off quite a lot the past couple of months, and there were rumours with attitude issues, but the guy's still a world-class fullback, and a 6-month loan deal is a great bit of business by Bayern. There's an option to buy for 70 million euros on this deal, so if things work out, then Bayern can sign him permanently, and if they don't, then there's no harm done, as it was just a loan deal. And besides, the chances of Cancelo flopping seems very low to me. He's a great player, and it's definitely an improvement on the likes of Benjamin Pavard. Now the next one is probably the biggest deadline day signing in the window, and that's Enzo Fernandez, who's leaving Benfica after just 6 months to join Chelsea, and I'm going to give this one a B. Now I was tempted to give it an A, as Enzo Fernandez is an exceptional talent. He won the World Cup of Argentina the other month and was named Young Player of the Tournament for his standout performances throughout the competition. He's also had an impressive last 6 months at Benfica, and did well as Boy Club River player as well. However, the fee they're paying for him is astronomical. In July of last year, he moved to Benfica for a fee of 10 million euros up front and 8 million in add-ons, and now just a few months later, he's joining Chelsea for 120 million euros. Not only does that make him a club record signing for Chelsea, he's also the most expensive signing by any club in Premier League history, and as good as he is, I'm not sure if he's worth that type of money. Chelsea's original offer for him was 85 million euros, and personally, I'll say that's closer to his true value. However, Benfica weren't willing to sell unless Chelsea paid their 120 million asking fee, and after weeks of negotiations, Chelsea finally caved in as they needed a midfielder, especially after letting Jorginho go. Chelsea aren't having the greatest seasons at the moment, but signing Enzo should put them on the right track, and I think he'll do a great job for them for years to come, and who knows, maybe he'll live up to the fee they paid for him. The next signing is Sabitzer, who's joining Man United on loan through Bayern Munich, and I'm going to give this one a C. Now I don't think this is a bad signing by any means, but it's not exactly a signing that'll make you jump out of your seat, as I don't think it's an improvement on what they've got. However, with Eriksen out injured for the next 3 months, Man United need to sign a midfielder, or else the top 4 hopes will be put in jeopardy, and as a short-term option, I think Sabitzer is a decent but not amazing option. Sabitzer joined Bayern Munich back in 2021 after having a few good seasons at Leipzig, but things never really worked out for him there, and he's been on the bench for the most part of the season. Although with Bayern Munich having one of the best midfields out there, it's not exactly a red flag that he couldn't spend himself a spot in their starting 11. If Sabitzer is able to get back to how he was during his Leipzig days, then I think this could prove to be a good move by United, but right now, I'll give this signing a C. Up next is probably one of the strangest signings I've ever seen, and that's Keylor Navas joining Nottingham Forest on loan for PSG, and this can't be anything else but an A. Nottingham Forest are currently 4 points above the relegation zone, but despite this, have managed to bring in a keeper that's won the Champions League 3 times and a plethora of other trophies with Real Madrid and PSG. With Dean Henderson being out injured, Forest needed to bring in a solid goalkeeper if they wanted to stand a chance of staying up in their first season back in the Prem, and this signing is more than solid. And whilst Navas may be 36 years old and has had limited game time this season due to Donnarumma playing ahead of him, he's still a very good goalkeeper, and with him in goal, I expect Nottingham Forest to stay up the season, so fair play to them for being able to pull off this deal. The next deadline day signing is Pedro Porro, who's joined Tottenham from Sporting CP, and I think this is an A. With Doherty's contract being terminated, Jed Spence going out on loan, and Emerson Royale being Spurs needed to bring in a quality right wing back, and I think Pedro Porro fits the bill. He's a winger that was converted into a wing back a few years ago, and his offensive stats this season have been very good, with 23-year-old getting 14 goals and assists in 26 appearances in that right wing back role this season. With Spurs' other right wing backs this season lacking when it comes to attacking contributions, Pedro Porro is a major upgrade on them in that department, and although there is more to be desired from him defensively, he's not the worst in defence. Anyway, I think this is a solid signing by Spurs. He's an improvement on what they've got, and whilst he may not be someone that comes in and saves their season, I still expect him to have a good impact on his Tottenham side. The second to last signing I'll be rating is Sulemana joining Southampton from Rennes, and I honestly think this is an A. Sulemana is a great young talent who has attracted interest from some of the biggest clubs in the world a couple years ago and ended up joining Rennes in the summer of 2021. At Rennes, he hasn't had the most flattering goal scoring record, but the potential is there to see, and with his pace and great dribbling skills, I think he'll provide Southampton the quality they need in attack to help them stay up the season. And also, despite being pretty young at just the age of 20, Sulemano is really experienced at both club and international level, with him having just under 100 appearances at club level and also being capped by his country 15 times. Finally, Albert Sammy Lokonga joined Crystal Palace on loan from Arsenal, and I'm going to rate this a C. Now, I think this is a much needed move for Lokonga as a player. He came to Arsenal from Anderlecht back in 2021, and he hasn't hit the ground running, and in the few matches he's played this season, he hasn't been at the same level as players around him. However, despite the opportunity to get more game time being good for Lokonga, I don't think it's actually a good sign for Palace to warrant an A or even a B. Now, that's not to say I think it'll do bad for them. If he's given a consistent run of games, he'll be able to settle into the Premier League and do decently for Vieira's side, but based on what we've seen of him at Arsenal, he doesn't seem like the type of player that will have a major impact on his Crystal Palace team. Anyway, that's all the deadline day signings I'm going to be rating. If you made it this far, you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already, and one share, comment down below your opinions on any of these deadline day deals. With that being said, have a good one guys. See ya.